Hola clase, hoy vamos a hacer las nacionalidades. We are going to be doing nationalities. Vamos a practicar mucho las capitales. We don't have to do as much review today because we're going to get right into capitales y nacionalidades. So if you guys print out that cheat sheet for el verbo or las nacionalidades, we will get started. Primero es Argentina. ¿Cuál es la capital de Argentina? Buenos Aires. Si yo vivo en Buenos Aires, yo soy argentino. O Argentina. Femenino, Argentina. Femenina, Argentina. Masculino, argentino. So Argentina, Buenos Aires, argentino. Bolivia. ¿Qué son las capitales de Bolivia? La Paz y el Sucre. Muy bien. Yo vivo en La Paz, entonces yo soy de Bolivia. Yo soy boliviano or boliviana. I always try to remember it that you just add an N-O to the end of Bolivia. Bolivia, no. Boliviano. Chile. Follows kind of the same pattern. La capital de Chile. Santiago. Muy bien. Yo soy de Chile. Yo soy de Santiago. Soy chileno. Chileno. Otra vez. N-O. Chileno. Costa Rica. La capital de Costa Rica. San José. Muy bien. Yo soy de San José. Yo soy costarricense. Costarricense. Colombia. La capital. Bogotá, muy bien. Bogotá, Colombia. Si yo soy de Bogotá, soy colombiano. Muy bien, colombiano. Again, you add the N-O, colombiano. Cuba. La Habana. Si yo soy de La Habana, yo soy cubana. Cubano. Cubana, depende masculino, femenina. Ecuador, la capital. Quito, muy bien. Si yo soy de Quito, yo soy ecuatoriano. Ay, ay, ay. Es un poco más complicado. But you guys can always use your cheat sheets as you're learning and growing. That's why I make these for you so that you can. One way of memorization is as you are taking the notes, you're writing it down. So you're taking it in, reading it, doing it, and then going taking the quiz. I'm trying to build that 7 times that you're seeing something to hopefully one day be able to memorize these. España, la capital. Madrid, muy bien. Yo soy de Madrid. Una persona de España es español, española. El Salvador. San Salvador, muy bien. Si yo soy de San Salvador, yo soy salvadoreño, salvadoreña, muy bien. Salvadorian. Guatemala, la capital de Guatemala. La ciudad de Guatemala, muy bien. Y si yo soy de la ciudad de Guatemala, un momento necesito. Guatemalteco, guatemalteco. Guatemalteco. Ooh, another mouthful. Guinea Ecuatorial, la capital. Malabo, muy bien. Si yo soy de Malabo, yo soy ecuatoguineo. Oy, la. La cosa fácil en español es que pronuncia cada vocale. So the positive part about Spanish is that you pronounce every syllable. So if you just break it down, you will be able to pronounce it. Ecuatoguineo. Ecuatoguineo. Guatemalteco. Salvadoreño. Ooh, Honduras. I already gave it to you. Tegucigalpa. Hondureño. Hondureño. Tegucigalpa is also a mouthful. Mexico, La Ciudad de Mexico. Remember in our definite and indefinite lesson, we learned that words that end in D are feminine. La Ciudad de Mexico. Si yo soy de Mexico, yo soy mexicano, mexicana. Nicaragua, la capital de Nicaragua. Hay agua en el nombre. There's water in the name. Managua. Muy bien. Si yo soy de Managua, yo soy nicaragüense. Nicaragüense. You have two little dots over the U. I couldn't get my computer to do that. Panama. La ciudad de Panama. Panameño. 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 Paraguay, la capital. Asunción. Y si yo soy de Asunción, all you need to do is add an O to the end of Paraguay. So how do you think you would pronounce that? Paraguayo. Paraguayo. Or Paraguaya. Peru. Lima. Si yo soy de Lima, yo soy peruano. Yo soy peruana. Y la última, Puerto Rico, San Juan, puertorriqueño. La República Dominicana, Santo Domingo, dominicano. Uruguay, Montevideo, soy uruguayo, uruguaya. Y Venezuela, Caracas, venezolano. Ay, hay mucho vocabulario a saber, so much vocab to know. Don't feel overwhelmed. It's a step-by-step process. It's taking me so many years. Poco a poco, as they say, little by little. Vamos a ver. So let's see what you guys know. What nationalities things are. El tango es un baile guatemalteco, ecuatoriano, or argentino. Argentino. Y el tango es super romántico. You know, a lot of times they'll have a flower in their mouth and they walk down kind of like this. Pero viene de Argentina. Es un baile argentino. Número 2. Frida Kahlo es artista. Nosotros hablamos de Frida en la última lección. We talked about her in the last lesson. I talked about her, I think, in the 2 before. So Frida Kahlo es artista mexicana. Muy bien. Super famosa, but she did not become famous until after her death. And she died fairly young. I think it was in her late 40s, early 50s, due to a childhood illness and an accident, like a bus accident that she got into. La bandera. So la bandera means flag. So la bandera es argentina, española, or venezolana. Exacto. Argentina, con el sol y azul y blanco. If you knew it was Argentina, muy bien. Recuerda, la bandera means flag. Número 4. Salvador Dalí es pintor, colombiano, español, or cubano. Nosotros hablamos de Salvador Dalí en el verbo ser, lección. Español, muy bien. Él era loco, diferente, interesante. Número 5. La salsa es baile. Dominicana, mexicana, cubana. Yo pensaba mexicana, pero actualmente es cubana. La salsa es cubana. That's where it originated from. Número 6, Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu es peruano, paraguayo, or español? Peruano, muy bien. Machu Picchu está en Perú y es peruano. Vamos a ver Machu Picchu muy rápido. I have been to Machu Picchu 5 times, 4 veces con estudiantes, 4 times with students. I had a summer job where I was able to visit it twice with students, and it was increíble, and it just is probably one of the most magical places I have ever been. So just to give you a little bit of a idea.
Go. Anywhere. Everywhere. Life is short. The world is wide. I want to make some memories.
So what makes it so unique, Machu Picchu sits at the peak of the mountain. And so for a long time it was hidden because you couldn't see it from below. It sits literally at the top of the mountain. These rocks didn't come from here. There's no mortar. They fit perfectly together. It is absolutely mind-blowing. Things are lined up with the sun, the moon, the stars. Just incredible. And it wasn't until the Spanish came later on that it was left behind. They fled it and eventually got overgrown with a jungle. And later on, you guys are going to learn this later in the semester, an American explorer came along to rediscover it. And it's absolutely fascinating. I look forward to telling you about that. So that's Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu was created by the Incans. The Incans. All right. Vámonos. Let's go to número 7. Flamenco. Flamenco es un baile cubano, venezolano, or español. Español. Muy bien. Vamos a ver un poco de flamenco. Es súper intenso, muy romántico. Me encanta. The last time, this is me in a cave a couple years ago watching some flamenco in Granada. You're in this small, intimate space, it's even more powerful. I've seen flamenco a couple times. We were in the caves in Granada. That was common where the gypsies are located, and flamenco is a tradition that goes back pretty far. And at one point was actually prohibited in Spain by the royals because they saw it as something very seedy, until rich people started hiring them for their dances, and that's when it became more socially acceptable. So it has a really interesting history as well. Número 8. La isla de Pascua es dominicano, chileno, or cubano. La isla de Pascua. So Easter Island es dominicano, chileno, or cubano. Chileno. Muy bien. Chichen Itza es mexicano, guatemalteco, or andorreño. Es mexicano. Muy bien. Un pirámide. La Sagrada Familia. La Sagrada Familia en la foto es boliviano, español, or ecuatoriano. It's español, and it's still in construction. So I believe the construction began in the early 1900s. And completion won't be done until 2036. So every time I've gone, they've still been working. So imagine a church that's still being built from its original plans 100 and some years ago. It's really wild. And the inside is beyond what I could ever explain to you. It's really magical. And Gaudi, who created this, created a whole bunch of other things in Barcelona as well, who had a very futuristic idea of what architecture is. So that's the Sagrada Familia, a huge church in Barcelona. Ropa vieja es un plato cubano, español, or ecuatoriano. So ropa vieja means old clothes. It's a dish called old clothes. So what do you think that means? Right, leftovers, right? Just kind of pulling together your old leftovers that you have to make a dish, and that's called ropa vieja. Y es un plato cubano. Es un plato cubano. Paella. Paella es un plato español. Muy bien. A lot of times this would be a seafood paella. You have rice, shrimp, clams. Es súper delicioso. Mofongo, me gusta mucho también mofongo, pero pienso que me gusta más la palabra. So not only do I like mofongo, I just love the word mofongo. Mofongo es un plato salvadoreño, panameño, or puertorriqueño. Mofongo es puertorriqueño. Muy bien. Y so mofongo, if you to explain it, it's rice and not rice, excuse me. It's plantains. So it's fried plantains, or you mush them up, garlic. It could have meat in it. It might not. You know, this one is more of a seafood base, but it's very, very good. So it's plantains as your base of that. Oh, I gave you the answer. Pura vida es una frase costarricense. So remember, pura vida means like we're all in this together, the good life, the pure life. We're on a floating rock. Like, let's just do this together. I wish we had that mentality. Pura vida, ¿no? Y número 15, el Día de los Muertos es una fiesta mexicana. So it'd be una fiesta mexicana, porque fiesta es femenina. Una fiesta mexicana. It's one of my favorite traditions, Mexican traditions. It's really opened up my mind to how we can pay tribute to our ancestors. If you ever take me in the fall, we do a pretty extensive Day of the Dead lesson. So hopefully you'll come across it someday. Que tengo buen día. We have a shorter lesson today, but I hope you've learned a couple of things. If you are struggling, if you've fallen behind, the best thing you can do is send me an email and I will do my best to work with you. But if you don't send me an email, I cannot help. So hopefully I'll hear from you if you need help. Que tenga buen día. Ciao.